Hello everyone, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you few basic options from Robo Framework. So first of all, let us start with creation of new project and we'll see what is a folder structure. And then I will talk about what are the different files will be there in the Robo Framework and what are those extensions. And then we will see what are the different sections available in robot file we can create. Then we'll write a basic test case using Robot Framework. And finally, we will see the report. So let's get started. So I'm just open my PyCharm window. So here by default, I have one project. So if I want to create a new project, we need to just go to File. Now select the new project. So in this window, we need to provide the name of the project. So now I'm just creating a new project. Let's say automation. Then click on create. So once you have create, then it will give you one more window. So here we need to select one of these options. So just if I say this window, the project will be open on the same window. Or if I click on the new window, the project will be opened on a new window. So I'm just clicking on this window. So once you click on this window, it is trying to create a new project in my PyCharm. So now it is creating a new project. So once this is created a new project, that will be appear in this particular PyCharm tree. So here you can see this is the Explorer. So under this particular project, you can also see external library section. Currently, Python is only associated with this project. So we can just start writing our Python programs. Now, other than this, we don't have anything else. So inside this automation, there is some environment in here, virtual environment. That means the project related default configuration will be there. So this is a default project which I have created. Now I want to use this particular project to write automation test cases using a robot framework. So for that, what we need to do is we need to add 3 different packages to this particular project. So what are those 3 different packages? One is Selenium package and robot framework Selenium library. So we should not forget about these 2 packages. So 3 packages we require. So we need to add Selenium, robot framework, Selenium library. So these are the packages should be added to this particular project. So from where we can add them. So we need to just select your project, then go to file, then settings. So once you go to settings, so here just need to go to project automation. This is our current project. Then go to project interpreter. So inside the project interpreter, so currently we have default packages, pip and setup tools are there. Now we need to add our own packages. So one package is Selenium framework, and other one is Selenium framework, Selenium library, and then Selenium. So let me then add them. So just click on the plus button. Now here search for Selenium. Now we'll see Selenium package, then click on install package. Now I have installed this package to this particular project. So now it is trying to install. So yeah, now it is successfully done. So after that, again search for robot framework. This is the next package. So search for robot framework. Now we need to also import this particular robot framework. Just install package one more time. So now I'm also installing a robot framework for this particular project. Now it is trying to install. Yes, now it is also successfully installed. Now we need to also add robot framework Selenium library. So robot framework Selenium library. This is a package. Now click on install package. Now it will also going to install this particular package for this particular project. Now everything is done. So once it is done, you can just close this window and we can say okay, and everything is set it done. So now we just go in external libraries. Still Python is there, and under extended definitions, and also you can see a lot of other tools, like if I see the environment. Okay, so there are a lot of other stuff also which will be displayed here. So now I have added all the packages to this particular project. Now what is the next thing we need to do is we need to know what are the file extensions will be there in the robot framework. So normally in the robot framework, we can create multiple types of files. Like we can create main file called, suppose if I want to create a test case, right? So the test case file extension will be .robot. So this is a extension of the test case file .robot. Okay, and which contains only robot test cases, robot framework test cases. Now we can also create, suppose if whenever you create some test data, we will create one Excel files, right? So even Excel files also we can create. So for them, normally we have XLS extension. And sometimes we need to also maintain the notepads, right? So notepads to prepare some data and all. So we have .txt files. So every file, and we can also have .py files. Sometimes we need to write, we need to implement the code for keywords. So in that case, we need to also create Python files. So the Python files by default is having .py as an extension. So these are the different files we can use in our project, in Robot Framework project, and according to the extension. So exactly the main file is a test case. So here we need to save the file with .robot extension. Okay, here we need to write actual test case, and rest of them are called as a resources. Okay, now these are the extensions. Now we'll see what are the different sections are there in the robot file. So now I'll just create and show you a simple robot file. So here, if I want to create a new test case, that is a normally robot file. So right click on the project like this and go to the new and take the file. Now here you can just give one file. So let's say first one test case, or we can say tc1. Okay, and let's say tc1 dot robot. So when I create the tc1 dot robot, it's create a new file under project. This is a tc1 dot robot. So normally this is not the best practice. So we will create all the test cases inside directories. So normally project structure contains a multiple directories. Every directory contains a similar kind of files. Okay, so I'm just removing from here, and then I will create a new directory. So right click on this project, go to new and directory. So here I will name it as test cases. So inside the test cases, I will create a new test case. Now right click on test cases, new file. Now here my tc1, I'll say tc1 dot tc1 dot robot. So this is actual test case file. Now click on OK. Now it is created. So now we can write test scripts here. So before writing the test case, we need to understand what are the different sections are there in this particular robot file. So we need to understand them as a beginner. So the first section will be the settings section. So that we need to specify using triple star. Okay, settings and space and triple star. So this is syntax. So triple star, settings and triple star. So this is a settings part. So under this section, we can add all the libraries. We need to just import libraries. And the next section will be the variables. So here we need to say variables. So this is another section we have, variables. So inside the section, we need to define the variables which are commonly used in every test case. And the next section will be the test cases. This is another section. So inside the test cases section, we can write multiple test cases. Now, after that, we have a keywords. So we have a keywords section. So inside the keyword section, we will define our own keywords. So normally robot framework contains a predefined keywords in library. So to perform operations, we use those keywords. But if you want to create our own keywords, we can define those keywords inside this particular section. So we can create all these sections in single robot file, or we can also create these sections in different files. Okay, so variables will be defined in one file and test cases will be there in robot file. Keywords can be defined in some other file. So in the normal framework, we do this. Okay, but for now, because it is a very basic test case, I'll put everything in the one file. So currently we have a 4 sections. Every robot file contains a 4 sections, and not every section is mandatory thing. Okay, if we don't have to write anything, we can just leave the section empty. So now I'm going to show you very basic test case. What are the things we need to include in this particular sections? So in the settings sections, we need to specify the libraries. What are the libraries we are using for this particular test case? We need to add those libraries. So for example, in this section, in this particular test case, I'm going to use Selenium library. So we need to just give one tab space. Now here, I will just import library. So as soon as you click on this library, it will give you the auto suggestions. Okay, library. What kind of library? You need to specify. That is Selenium library. Selenium library you need to. So it is giving some error. Let's see what is error. So library, let me write it one more time. So library, and here I'll say, yeah, now Selenium library, Selenium library. So this is a library we need to specify. So under settings, we need to add library and give one space here, two spaces or one tab space. And then indentation is very important in Python. So we need to follow the same thing. So the keyword is library and specify the library name. So this will import the library, Selenium library, and whatever keywords are available in this library, we can use those keywords inside our test case. So if you use multiple libraries, you need to specify all the libraries under settings section. Now come to the variables part. So we will discuss this variable parts in few minutes. For now, I'm just leaving it as empty. Now even I will also leaving the keywords empty. Now let's come to the test cases. So here we need to exactly write our test cases. So this is the area. So when you want to write your test cases, the first thing is we need to specify the name of the test case. Let's say I'll give some name called login test. So the name of the test case should follow, and we need to give one tab space. And from here, we can write our test steps. And while writing your test steps, we need to use a predefined keywords which are already there in Selenium library. So we need to aware of those keywords. Until unless we know those keywords, we cannot write our automation script. So here, the robot framework, they have given all the keywords reference in their website. Just to go and open this URL. So in this particular URL or okay, just a moment. Yeah. Now in this particular open URL, you can find all the keywords, whatever they are supporting. Okay. So Selenium library contains a lot of things, and if it just come down, they have given a lot of keyword, and here you can see that this is a keywords table. So it provided a lot of keywords and how to use those keywords, what are the arguments are required for this keywords, and also they have given the documentation part of it. So in future, if you need any new keywords, we can just refer in this particular web page. Okay, so I'll also give this link in the description. You guys can find it later. All right, so now in this particular login, in the test cases, we need to write a test case. So login test is a name of the or title of your test case. So inside this, I will try to implement one test case. I'll try to implement a small test case. So let me just show me the test case now. So what I can do is I'll open a website. So let's go to this website, demo.novpcommerce.com. So here, this is a shopping cart application. So here I'll just click on the login link. And after clicking on the login link, I will provide my username and password. Okay, and after that, click on the login. Now, once your login is successful, then I will just close the page like this. Okay, just simple flow. I'm going to write a steps. So login test is my title of the test case, and then give one tab space. And here we need to use certain keywords. So the first step is we need to launch the browser. So for that, we have a keyword available, that is open browser. So if I just type one or two letters, it will give you all the keywords list. Okay, it is auto suggestion. So if you install IntelliBot Selenium 2 library, you will get all these keywords. Okay, so open browser, and open browser here we need to specify. So let me write one more time. I'll say one tab space, and this is open browser, lowercase. Okay, open browser, and here we need to specify the URL and browser. So which URL you want to launch. So this is a URL I want to launch. Let me just put this URL. Okay, this is a URL, and again you need to give one tab space and then give this URL. Sorry, just a moment. So open browser, and after open browser, so we need to give one tab space and give this URL. And where we need to open this URL in the Chrome browser. Now we'll say one more tab space and specify the Chrome. So just Chrome, okay, not create Chrome, just Chrome. So now this particular URL will be opened in this particular browser. So here, as a prerequisite, we need to also download the browser drivers before itself. So in Selenium, so whichever browser you are working with, we need to download browser related drivers. Okay, so I already downloaded those drivers from Selenium website. If you just go to Selenium official website. From there, you will get the driver from for different browsers. So just go to download section. Now here, if we just come down, so Google Chrome driver and Firefox driver, Opera, Microsoft Edge, there are multiple browsers are there. Now if you just go to here latest, now it will show you this window. From this one, we can just download one of this driver. Click on this stable version. Then it will go to next one and just download the zip file and extract the zip file which contains a chrome driver.exe. Similarly, we can download all other drivers. So once you downloaded those drivers, we can just keep those drivers in some folder. So currently all my drivers are present inside the C drive under drivers folder. Now here Chrome driver is present. So once you have done this particular step, you need to specify this particular path in your script. So here we need to specify one more parameter. So just give one more space. And here we need to add executable path. Okay. So you say executable path. Let me just give properly. So here we need to specify executable path. So where we need to specify the exact location of your browser. So here, driver, so not browser. So here it is a Chrome and one tab space, sorry. I'll say Chrome, and after that give one tab space and executable. Just a moment, let me just find out. All right, so here, not exactly here, we need to add one more statement before opening the browser. So that is your create web driver. Okay, this is a keyword again. So create web driver, create space web driver. Okay, create space web driver. Now here we need to add create web driver Chrome, create web driver Chrome, and then give the executable path. Give one tab space, and here we need to write executable underscore path is equal to, and here we need to specify the location of your Chrome. And these are not case sensitive, you can just write a lowercase also. So executable path is here, so somewhere in the C drive under drivers and under driver win32. So here my driver is present, so you can specify the driver here location. Now along with the name of the driver, so just go here and copy this driver chrome driver.exe, and now specify the name of the driver. So this is a step we need to do. So create web driver Chrome, executable path we need to specify. So there is also another way also there. So without also specifying this executable path every time, we can also avoid this step. So in that case, what we need to do is we need to copy these drivers, whatever drivers you are going to use should be copied into the folder. So where we need to copy in the C drive, go to Python installation location. So if we just go to the Python, right? So inside the Python, there is a scripts folder. So here you need to copy the drivers. So currently I already have chrome driver.exe. So if we have this driver copied here, and in that case, you no need to write this statement. Okay, so you can just avoid this statement. So otherwise we need to specify, first we need to create the driver Chrome, and then we need to say executable path. And if you don't want to write this statement every time for every test case, then you can just copy that drivers inside the script folder. Okay, and one more thing is this particular path we need to configure in path variable. So as part of setup, we already done this earlier. So again, I'm showing you, go to right PC, this PC, properties, advanced system settings. So here it will give you one more window, environment variables. Just go to path variable, edit. So here I have already added till scripts. Okay, so this is a step is mandatory required if you copied all the drivers inside the script. At the runtime, our PyCharm will automatically get those drivers from this particular folder. So in this case, you don't require this particular statement. Okay, so you can just remove this now. So directly we open the browser. Now once it is done, the next thing is here we pass two parameters. Open browser is a keyword and URL, and this is the name of the browser. So after that, the next step is I need to click on the login. So go to your application. So let me just go to our application where it is. Okay, let me just open my application once again. This is the URL. So let me open the browser. So here in this particular browser, we need to just click on the log. I'm just clicking on the logout for now. So we need to click on the login. As soon as I launch the page, I need to click on the login. So this is the first thing. So let me inspect this link, and we can use a link text also. So here basically this is a link, right? So if it is a link, we can also capture XPath of this. Let me just capture XPath for this link. And you can also use CrewPath plugin to get this. Okay, I'm just using this. And now go to script. Here the next step will be we need to click on the login link. So how to click on the links? So we have a keyword called click links. If I just type here, you will see here click link, and here we need to say XPath. So XPath. So you can just automatically everything is populated here, right? See XPath, and you say colon and specify the XPath directly here. Now this particular keyword click link will perform the click action on this link. Now after that we need to pass a value into this particular username and password fields. Okay, once you click on the login, then you will get username and password. So here we need to pass username, email and password. Okay, let's identify these elements. And ID is available, so even password is also, the ID is available directly. So I'm just taking the ID, okay, for user email ID and password. Inspect this email ID, and this is the ID which is there. Let me just copy from here. Okay, so email is my ID, so let me use that. So here how we can identify the element. So here we don't need to identify the element directly, so because the keyword we have to specify and the required locator we need to add. So wherever you see the input box, we need to pass some value into it. For that we use a keyword called input space text. So input to text. So here we use ID, right? So ID colon specify the ID value. Okay, now this is the keyword will provide the input into this particular element, and what is the value we need to pass? Give one more space, and here give the value, that is our email ID. Okay, these are the parameters. Now similarly we need to also pass a password, that is also a text box or input box. So we say input, again text, and ID. So the ID of this particular element. So select this, and ID of this particular element is password. Now go here and specify and give one tab space, and then what is the value I'm going to enter is test@12. This is my password. So after that we need to click on this element. So that is a login we need to click. So inspect this login, and for this we don't have any ID, so let's go and get the XPath for this. Now here we need to perform click operation on this element, right? So I'll say click element. Now XPath, specify that XPath. So that's it, guys. So click element method will perform the click action on this element, but input box is required parameter, so I'm passing parameter as a third parameter, so third value. Okay, so first open the browser. So this URL will be open on the Chrome browser. Then click on the login link and providing the username, email ID and password, then clicking on the login button. Now after that I want to close my browser. So here I'll say a keyword called close and specify the browser, close browser. So this command will close the browser. So this is how we need to write the steps inside the test case. So everything is a keyword. So if you know the keyword, we can easily implement our test. So currently we haven't used any variables and any of the keywords. I've just specified the steps and also some parameters, right? Now let us execute this. So how to execute this test? So in the robot framework, we can't find any direct option available here. So we need to run this test through command prompt. So in the PyCharm, they have provided one terminal here. So by default it is there. So click on the terminal. Now it will open the command prompt terminal like this. So in this terminal, we should be able to execute our test cases. So currently our test is there in the test cases directory, right? So we need to use robot is a command, robot space, specify your directory, in which directory your test case is present, robot test cases, and slash, your test case name is tc1.robot. So this is how we need to run. So press enter. Now we'll see it is started my test case. So this is launching my browser. Now click on the login, and it is performing the login. Okay, something went wrong. So let me just cross check once again. Let me run one more time. Yes, still it is doing. I have just closed it. Okay. So let me just run one more time. So somehow it is getting failed. So let's run one more time. So how we can run is again command prompt. So let's clear it. Now the command is robot test cases as tc1.robot. Now press enter. Now it will launch my browser. Now you can see my browser is launched. Then it will maximize. I have just maximized. Now you can see it should enter email and password both into these elements. So somehow it is not able to identify these elements. It will run into issues. Let's see why it is not doing it. Okay, now it is exited, and because of some failure. And why it is getting failure is, yeah, here it is saying. So login test keyword Selenium library dot input text expected 2 arguments, but it is saying only 1. So input text is expecting 2 arguments, but we have just passed only 1 argument, it is saying. So let's see what it is. So open browser URL and Chrome browser we passed, and a click link, and we specify the XPath, and based on this we'll click on the login also. Then input text, here it is expecting ID, I'll say email, and also I have given some value here, and input text and ID is password, and I have also given some password, but I have given correctly, but we see indentation is correct or not. Okay, now I have just given some indentation. Okay, let's see now. It should work. So test at the rate 123 and class button 1 login button, and then finally closing the browser. All right, so let's execute again. Right, so now I'm just giving the same command, robot test cases slash tc1.robot. Press enter. Now it is launched in my Chrome browser. Right now it is clicking yes. Now it is entering email password. Now clicking on the login, and after that my browser is also closed. Now you can see 1 test case have run and 1 test case got passed. So this is how we need to write very basic test case in robot framework. So totally we have 4 sections. Settings, inside this we need to specify the libraries, and currently I have not defined any variables. Now the login test cases, we can create multiple test cases also. This is 1 test case, and similarly I can create 1 more test case, which test case contains a number of steps, and keywords also I have not defined so far. So now I have just created very basic test case. So now let us try to add some variables and see how this is going to work. So here I will create 2 different variables. So what I'm doing is, here this URL and the password, right? URL and browser name, right? So these 2 are common for every test case. Suppose let us assume I have multiple test cases written. Every time, instead of writing this URL and browser name, instead of writing here, I will just create a variables so that I can refer those variables everywhere. So how we can create it? Just a dollar symbol. Sorry, just a dollar symbol here. In the dollar symbol, in the curly braces, we need to add, let's say, browser. Okay, this is the name of the variable, and give 1 tab space, and name of the browser is Chrome. So whatever value I have specified, I'm adding that value into some variable. Similarly, I will also add this URL into some other variable. So here I'll create 1 more variable. This is a syntax, and in the curly braces is a URL. The value of the URL is this one. This is the value of the URL. So I have just created 2 variables now. Okay, now once you have these variables, we can reuse these variables here instead of writing the complete URL. Okay, now how we can do this? So just to specify this browser directly here. Okay, now use this URL directly here instead of putting the complete path. See this, now whatever value we have added these 2 variables, we have just referring those variables here. We are just referring those variables. right? So now just give one tab space. Okay, this is one tab space, and this is another tab space. Done. So again, one more tab space. All right, so now we have just referring those variables whichever we created above. Okay, so this is a lowercase letter b, and this is also small url. Okay, done. So we have just referred those variables whatever we created here. Browser spelling mistake. Okay, done. So this is how we need to create multiple variables, and we can reuse those variables inside your test cases. Now again, let us execute this. So go to your command prompt. Let's clear this and run this test case one more time. Now it is launching my browser, opening this URL. Now clicking on the login, providing username and password, click on the login, then finally close my browser. So now it is successfully executed and also passed. Right, so this is how we can define the variables, and we can use those variables inside our test, inside our test cases. Okay, so similarly we can also create our keywords. So for example, if you want to create a keywords, we can just specify like this. Suppose I'll just write one keyword called log into, or log into, okay, application, log into application. So this is a keyword. So under this keyword, what I will do is I will just specify all this stuff. Okay, just I'll specify, or else I can just say till here, let it be there. So from here, okay, or else I just copy these scripts from here and put that into this particular keywords. Okay, so here what I have done is I just created one keywords login. This is your user defined keyword now. So under this keyword, I am going to perform these operations. So now what happens is, when I call this particular keyword, or when I use this keyword inside my test case, so whatever steps we have defined under this particular keyword will be executed. So now we no need to write all the steps inside our test cases. So simply what I can do is I can just refer this keyword here. That's it. Okay, now what happens is we have just created one user defined keyword which will perform the login operation on this particular application. So here we open the browser, URL on the browser, and immediately I'm just using this keyword login to application. So this will perform all the steps. After completion, again it will close the browser. So this is how we can also create our own keywords instead of using existing keywords, right? Now let us execute one more time. Now clear everything, run our test. All right, so now it is started my test. Open the URL. Now, yes, now it is entering username and password, successfully logged in. Now my test is got passed. Okay, my test is got passed. So this is how we can also create our own keywords. Instead of writing this much code inside the test case, we can just separate that. If you feel this code is commonly repeating in every test case, then you don't write the same steps again and again. Just create one keyword and copy all the steps inside this and refer that keyword in your test case. So that's how we need to define. So settings contains the libraries which are used in our test cases. Under variable section, we can create multiple variables which we can refer in multiple test cases. Under test cases, we will actually write our tests, and under keywords, we can write our own keywords. Okay, so these are the 4 sections we can have in your robot file. Now, once I have just executed, it will also generate the report. So this is the project. Under this project, so under test cases directory, I have a test case. Now these are the 3 files you will see once you executed your test. So log.html, output.html, report.html. So if I just open this report.html, let's say open in browser and Chrome browser, then you will see a report here. This is a default robot framework report. So currently I have executed only TC1. So it is getting passed. When I click on this, it will go to another page. Now TC1 only we have currently. So this is a login test, which is like only one test case we have in the TC1. So it is executed. Now, if I just go to log link here, it will clearly show you detailed information. So if we just say TC1, we just expand the test. Now you can see very clearly what are the keywords we have created and how many executed, how many passed. So you can just see full name is tc1.login test, status is got passed. Now here keywords, whatever keywords we have used, right? So the basic keyword open browser we used, and where we pass URL and password. Then rest of the keyword, this is a user defined keyword we used. Under this again, there are multiple steps we have already created under this keyword. So all the steps have been executed. And finally, close browser also executed. So in detail information, we can see in the robot framework default report. Okay, so this is how we can open the report and we can analyze it. So what we have learned in this session is how to create a project folder structure, and what are the files extension will be there. Like normally robot file, like robot test case file should be .robot is an extension. And we also discussed multiple sections in the robot file, like settings, variables, test cases, and the keywords. And after that, I have shown you how to write a test case and how to execute a test case. And finally, we have seen the basic robot framework report. All right. So that's all for this session, guys. So thanks for watching.